The most used outlet in our workshop is the one in the ceiling. This is because since we bought this extension reel, we can actually use it in every corner of the workplace. We have hooks all across our workbench to hold the extension cord in place as it's broken and rolls back automatically. The extension became even more useful with our workbench. It has everything that we need, and on the other end of the workbench we have our router table that is set up in a table saw extension along with the table saw. As you see, the table saw and the router are at the other end of the table. That means that whenever we need to use it, we have to pull the extension cord and pull it across the workbench. This also means that every time I have to use the table saw or a router, I have to connect and then reconnect. That's when I felt the need to have an extension outlet right next to the table saw, which is what we are going to build today. The parts that you need are outlet, the metal junction box which we will be installing on the other end of the table. We are also using a metal cover plate, 12 or 14 gauge wire. In this particular case we are using 12 gauge with metal conduit along with electrical plug and some wire nuts. We will be installing the plug on this end of the workbench. So for that purpose we will be drilling a hole that will be coming out here. The wire will run across the bench under the table and exiting out here on the other side of the workbench. We originally tried to drill the hole from inside, but it was too hard. So finally we took the measurement, transferred it on the other side of the table and then drilled the hole from this side. Once the holes were drilled, we fished the wire and pulled it across the bench. We confirmed the location of the metal box before deciding which knockout hole to punch. We then stripped the wire, which was a little hard because of the metal covering. Be careful as we ended up damaging the ground wire. Luckily it was ground, so no harm done. Before installing the outlet, we also put the clamping nut on the knockout punch that we made. This is so that the wire can be held securely and does not move in and out. I believe this is a code requirement, but that somebody who has a more professional knowledge can confirm. Once the metal box was attached to the workbench, we shifted to installing the outlets onto the metal face cover. In this particular case, the outlets are attached with 2 screws onto the face cover, and then the entire face cover along with the outlets are installed on the metal box. Here you are seeing we are taking the outlets and attaching it with the provided screws. We did it for the first outlet and then repeated the same process for the second one. Once the outlets are attached, we connected both the outlets using some electrical wire. In this particular case, we used 14-2 wire that was lying around. We first connected the neutral wire and then did the same process for the hot wire. For ground wire, I attached it separately before tying them together. I could have also used one long ground wire, running it from one outlet to another and using that same one to connect with the source. I'm wondering if there is any difference or advantage of one method over the other. If you have any thoughts, please share it in the comment. Once this is done, we took this and attached over the metal box on the other side. Unfortunately, my camera stopped working, so I couldn't film it, but here we are showing the connections. It's very simple. The hot goes to the hot, the ground goes to the ground, and the neutral is connected. Once it's all attached, we put the face frame on top of the metal cover. And that's pretty much it. We now have 4 outlets right next to our table saw and router where we wanted. But wait, it's not done. Remember the other end that was unconnected? Next we would be using the other end to put a plug on it that we can use with our power extension. Before attaching the plug, I also put a metal clamp to hold the wire securely. The final step is to put the male plug that we can use with our extension cable. As we were using 12 gauge wires, they were a bit harder to work with. It just took a little bit more time. So with 30 minutes of work, we now have a functioning outlet on the other side ready to be used with the table saw. This was something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and finally I'm happy to be done with it. It adds good functionality to our workbench and makes our workspace more safer. If you have a questions or a comment, please leave it down below. We'll see you soon in the next video. Thank you.